Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro studio.
WRHU.
Hempstead.
You discovered.
A cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WRHU.
Now, Long Island's largest radio news team brings you the Associated Press award-winning program, Newsline.
Coming up on Newsline Wednesday, May 15th, 2024.
The bribery trial of Democratic Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey begins in Manhattan.
Ukraine's president says his troops pushed back Russian forces in Kharkiv.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says the Kremlin is ready to begin negotiations with Kyiv over the ongoing conflict.
And the Prime Minister of Slovakia is in critical condition after an assassination attempt.
Is it healthy for me to use AI to grieve my lost loved ones? And will this summer's heat beat last year's temperatures? I'm Fatma Moen, and we're talking science and tech. Stick around.
Did David Copperfield's magic touch cross the line? Find out the details on the allegations of sexual misconduct. Shocking gunshot footage from Lil Baby's latest video shoot, and find out how Tom Brady's hilarious roast appearance is making waves with his kids. I'm Dr. Sumaro, and I'll have all of this and more later in the broadcast.
In sports, the Nets and Yankees both in action tonight, and the Nets retire a Legends jersey. I'm Connor Keogh, and I'll have all that and more later in the broadcast.
Good evening, everyone. I am Brooklyn Doughton.
And I'm Cameron Bowden. We begin tonight's broadcast in Manhattan. New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez's bribery trial is underway after nearly 3 days of selecting jurors. Menendez is being tried with two other defendants, Fred Diabes, a New Jersey real estate developer, and Wahel Hanna, the owner of a halal meat company. Menendez has pleaded not guilty. In opening statements, the U.S. prosecutor, Laura Pomerantz, alleged that the bribery scheme began in 2018 when Menendez sat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. She alleged that in 3 different situations, Menendez used his position to provide insight and assistance to businessmen for bribes. Following Pomerantz's opening statement, Avi Weitzman, one of the senator's lawyers, began the opening statement for the senator. Weitzman called Menendez a hero and a patriot and says that everything Menendez did was on behalf of his constituents. Weitzman also placed much of the blame on Nadine Menendez, Bob Menendez's wife, claiming that the senator was unaware of the various alleged bribes. Weitzman says that Menendez included all of the assets him and his wife owned, including the gold bars, in his obligated Senate financial disclosure form. After a short break, Judge Stein adjourned the court for the day. Co-defendants will offer opening statements tomorrow.
After a new Russian offensive in Ukraine's second-largest city, the Ukrainian government is pulling its own troops from the surrounding area. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky canceled all upcoming foreign trips. In an evening address, Zelensky says that the situation in Kharkiv has been stabilized. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is currently visiting Ukraine and promised an additional $2 billion in aid to the country in light of this new offensive. When announcing the package, Blinken declared that Ukraine may be facing an additional threat, but it is still remaining strong in its response.
For anyone who's tempted to bet against Ukraine, don't. It would be a big mistake. We've heard the same thing sometimes about the United States. Never a good bet to bet against us, never a good bet to bet against Ukraine.
Ukrainian officials are also fearful that this attack may distract the Ukrainian military from Russian massing troops at other eastern border locations.
Meanwhile, in an interview with Chinese media, Russian President Vladimir Putin says the Kremlin is ready to begin negotiations with Ukraine. The leader's 2-day trip to Beijing is yet another show of the relationship between China and Russia, despite China saying that it is neutral in this conflict. Ukraine has remained steadfast in its terms for a negotiation, including a restoration of Ukraine's territory, security protections, and a withdrawal of Russian troops, among other stipulations.
A barge passing through Galveston, Texas, has crashed into a bridge and begun spilling oil into the surrounding waters. The collision closed the only roadway onto Pelican Island, just north of Galveston, has partially collapsed a local rail line and hit into 2 telephone poles. The Galveston Office of Emergency Management said that 1 man was knocked off of the barge, but rescued shortly after. Galveston Judge Mark Henry spoke to ABC 13 Houston about what they know so far about the spill.
We're seeing about a 300-foot sheen right now, but again, we don't know if the barge was full, empty, or mid. We just know that there is a leak of some kind associated with it there. I can see the picture there. That's the sheen we're going to be monitoring and having to clean up.
According to KTRK, the Galveston County Sheriff's Office reported that a large chunk of the bridge fell onto the barge. Crews are currently working to clean up the oil spill.
Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, has been shot and is in critical condition. Fico was standing in front of a cultural community center in Hanlova after a government meeting. Fico was greeting the crowd when one of the spectators opened fire. According to TA3, a Slovakian television station, Fico was wounded in the stomach and airlifted to the nearest hospital. He will receive urgent surgery there. According to the TA3, the suspect has been arrested.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have agreed to debate in Atlanta on June 27th. The debate will be hosted by CNN at its studios in Atlanta. According to CNN, there will be no audience. However, Biden and Trump do not agree on the rules or the moderator. This comes after Biden posted to his social media accounts challenging Trump to a debate.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
The two sides also agreed to another debate in September. However, there is no guarantee that the second one will happen.
Paul Cartier is the organist for the New York Islanders and New York Yankees, but his musical roots come from the church. Yao Bonsu took a trip to St. William the Abbot Church where Cartier plays during Sunday Mass.
If you're an Islander fan, you recognize those keys. It is Paul Cartier, organist for the Islanders and Yankees. The arena is not the only place he plays. At St. William the Abbot Church, if you look high above, you can see Paul's head, playing away at Sunday Mass.
It's just been home to me. I started very young, but I was blessed in the fact that I kind of just took to the organ. I was going to games and would hear the organist there and then go home and mimic what they did.
What they did was give him a new way to explore his faith.
I always felt a strong attachment to my faith. I try to live a Christian life and be nice to everybody, do unto others as they do unto you.
And for 54 years, Paul has been spending his Sundays giving people a love for music in the church.
So I wanted to enrich their experience at the church. I wanted them to go out humming the stuff we're playing. You know, I'm a retired air traffic controller. I'm retired 9 years now. This keeps me busy. You know, so between church and the two teams, you know, people say to me, you know, I thought you retired. And I look at them and I'm like, but this isn't work.
It is fun. And when you walk into a church and you hear Cartier playing, he just wants you to feel.
I hope it makes people happy. You know, it brings a smile to their face and can feel my love for the music through the music, and then it comes out in their heart.
Reporting in Seaford, I'm Yao Bonsu.
Thank you again to Yao Bonsu for that report.
Coming up after your Newsline Science Technology Report with Fatima Moen, New York City Mayor Eric Adams is under fire for comments made about immigrants. A person was struck by a train in Brooklyn, and 75 illegal smoke shops have been closed within the first week of crackdowns. But first, your Newsline traffic and weather update with Jack Ferretti. WRHU News Time is 5:39.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
A surprise to be sure, commuters faced significant delays crossing the George Washington Bridge this morning as law enforcement prepared for potential protests. Traffic on the upper levels heading into New York saw delays of up to 75 minutes, with the Northwalk pedestrian path and the GW bus station temporarily closed. Buses were rerouted, causing additional delays of up to 15 minutes from New Jersey transit riders. While Columbia University issued a travel advisory, warnings of possible bridge closures, no protest activity was reported as of 9 a.m. The Port Authority assured commuters of ongoing monitoring and safety measures. Oh, we love to hear about the buildup, as returning to Long Island, an accident on the Southern State Parkway has the left shoulder west from Nassau Road all the way to Merrick Avenue blocked off. Expect 15 to 20 minute delays. There's also more to deal with in terms of traffic, as until 5 p.m., Roadwork will close off New York Avenue all the way from Route 24 to Route 135. It is currently 60 degrees with heavy rain showers outside of our studio here at Hofstra University. Get those umbrellas out, as tomorrow will be more of the same with heavy rain showers day in and day out. I'm Jack Ferretti, and I'll be back with another report later in the broadcast.
Newsline Technology.
The 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But for the minds behind grief bots, there's interaction. The technology creates digital ghosts using generative AI, the same used for ChatGPT. The service takes information using photos, text, audio recordings, video, and so on to have a virtual bot to look and sound like your lost loved one. Researcher from Cambridge University, Kasia Nowenchik-Poshensky, says these replicas of the deceased are meant to, quote, create an illusion that a dead person is still alive and can interact with the world as if nothing actually happened. Her team shares concerns and risks for the living using that technology, calling it a little bit too much like science fiction. Leaving the UK for San Francisco, the city is the first in the country to ban forever chemicals in their firefighting uniform. PFAS, or per- and polyfluoroalkyls, are chemical substances that don't environmentally break down and can be absorbed by the skin. Research, according to the Environmental Protection Agency, show firefighters being linked for a much higher risk for cancers. The chemical helps to repel flammable liquids, but will be halted in U.S. manufacturing, with the city's fire department being given until June 30th, 2026, to purchase the new gear for its over 1,400 firefighters. Last year's summer was the hottest for the Northern Hemisphere since 1850. There was the extra release of greenhouse gases from burning fossil fuels and the undersea volcanic eruption of El Niño, all contributing to the Earth's sizzling heat. Last year's June through August saw its average temperature grow 35 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than average summer temperature. That according to data collected by Tree Rings. Summer 2024 is expected to be another hot one, so have your shades and sunscreen ready on standby. That's your Science Tech Report. I'm Fatma Moen, WRHU.
WRHU News Time is 5:42. Thank you, Jack Ferretti and Fatima Moen, for those reports. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is under fire for his remarks about migrants being excellent swimmers. Adams made this comment yesterday at a news conference regarding the lifeguard shortage in the city.
How do we have a large body of people that are in our city and country that are excellent swimmers, and at the same time we need lifeguards? And the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard.
People have taken to X, formerly known as Twitter, to criticize Adams. Many of them are accusing him of being racist. Many believe that to say that migrants are excellent swimmers is to reinforce old slurs and stereotypes. This generally applies to incoming immigrants at the U.S.-Mexico border who have been dubbed a slur that comes from their getting their backs wet from swimming across the Rio Grande. Adams also talked about expediting migrants' work visas in order to work in industries including nursing and food service.
A person was hit by a train in Brooklyn, causing delays on the D line early this morning. According to the MTA, the incident occurred at the 62nd Street subway station. Previously, southbound D trains operated on the N line from 36th Street to Coney Island Stillwell Avenue, but service is now resumed regularly. The individual's condition remains unknown, and officials haven't determined the cause of the incident.
In the first week of Operation Padlock to Protect, New York City closed 75 illegal smoke shops and laid down $6 million in fines. Mayor Eric Adams aims to target shops selling illegal cannabis in the city's nearly 3,000 illegal smoke shops. One shop faced $84,000 in fines for selling $55,000 in illegal cannabis. And in an interview with ABC7, City Council member Eric Butcher supported the crackdown, citing various risks.
Good riddance to illegal, unlicensed shops like this that have been selling to minors, that are selling untested products, that are not paying taxes.
Mayor Adams vows to continue across all boroughs, despite New York's limited licenses for regulated cannabis sales.
Recent school bus incidents in Ramapo have sparked concerns over student safety. Ramapo police reported that 2 Monse school bus drivers received citations for crashes that happened in the same neighborhood. The accidents took place in both March and April and led to children being injured. The drivers avoided avoided Meshliem Incorporated and United Talmudical Academy of Monsey. One driver was terminated. 5 children have been hit by vehicles in Ramapo in the last 5 months.
A man was stabbed inside a Lower East Side subway station early this morning. The incident occurred at the Delancey Street Excess Street station at around 5:30 a.m. According to officials, the victim sustained stab wounds to the neck and lower back following a fight with the suspect. Emergency services transported the victim to NYC Health and Hospital's Bellevue. The suspect, described by police as a man wearing a white hoodie, fled to the street after the attack.
Police are investigating 3 separate knife-slashing incidents at New York City schools that have left 4 students injured. The first incident happened yesterday afternoon when a 15-year-old and 17-year-old slashed each other inside of the High School of Graphic Communication Arts in Hell's Kitchen. In response to the slashing, metal detectors were set up at the school this morning. On the same day, a 15-year-old in the Bronx and an 18-year-old in Queens were slashed in separate incidents.
The man wanted for punching actor Steve Buscemi in the face on a Manhattan street has been identified by police, but the search for the suspect is ongoing. According to police, Buscemi was treated for bruising and bleeding to his left eye for the seemingly random attack. The suspect has been identified as 50-year-old Clifton Williams, 3 days after police released surveillance images.
Police are searching for a man that robbed a smoke shop at gunpoint on Flatbush Avenue last night. According to police, a masked man walked inside the smoke shop with a gun and stole merchandise just before 11 p.m. Employees say that this is the second time the store has been robbed at gunpoint in 2 years. Police are still searching for the suspect.
That's why New York State will be the first state in America to say there'll be paid prenatal leave available to all of our employees. You can take 20 hours off and get what you need.
That was Governor Kathy Hochul announcing that New York is becoming the first state to pay for prenatal leave for all employees. Starting next year, all employees in the state will receive 20 hours of paid prenatal personal leave in a 52-week period. The time is meant for pregnant employees to attend any pregnancy-related medical appointments and procedures.
A public hearing will be held to look at the creation of a new parking lot near Mount Sinai South Nassau Hospital. The hospital is seeking a permit to create a 152-spot parking lot, which would require 10 residential homes to be destroyed, though the hospital already owns these properties. Mount Sinai South Nassau Hospital has already been approved to build an 800-spot parking complex. However, the company needs a new lot to make up for the losses in parking that would occur with construction. Residents in the area have said they have concerns about noise and traffic if this is approved.
A new art piece installed in New York City that connects to a similarly designed piece in Dublin and allows for communication between passersby in the two cities has been shut down after some inappropriate behavior. The art piece, called The Portal, creates a live stream in each city and displays it to the other, and allows visitors and viewers to interact with each other. However, less than a week since its debut, the organizers have already realized that a trend of putting curse words on screen and flashing body parts has emerged. Both the Flatiron Nomad Partnership, the organizers of the art piece in NYC, and the Dublin City Council say that they are looking for ways to address these trends.
The New York City Rockaway Ferry has released its annual summer schedule, with increased weekend and holiday capacity and a reintroduction of the Rockaway Reserve and Rockaway Rocket. The Reserve allows riders to book tickets during peak hours in the summer and costs $10 for departures on weekends between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., with return trips happening between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Reservations can be made for Memorial Day weekend starting this weekend. Regular ferry tickets are $4 and are on a first-come, first-served basis. The Rocket will provide express beach service for $10 a ticket in certain July and August weekends. Those weekends have yet to be announced.
Coming up, your Newsline Entertainment Report with Dorcas Umaru. But first, your Newsline Traffic Update with Jack Ferretti. WRHU News Time is 5:49.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
As we return to the roads, another accident on the Northern State Parkway off Exit 31 is leading to stop-and-go traffic of up to 5 minutes, backed up to Route 107 off Exit 35. There's traffic as far as the eye can see, as another accident off the Grand Central Parkway east at Home Lawn Street has blocked off the left lane from Exit 17 to Exit 11. A little further to the west on the southern state, traffic buildup heading eastbound is resulting in traffic delays of 6 minutes and increasing. Unfortunately for the southern state, another accident east at Wantagh Avenue off of exit 28 has led to stop-and-go traffic backed up all the way to Merrick Avenue off exit 24. Please expect 20-minute delays. Cruising to the Long Island railroads this evening, there are scattered 25 to 30-minute delays on the Montauk branch due to early late arriving equipment in Montauk. The 358 train from Ronkonkoma to Riverhead is also operating 10 to 15 minutes late due to the heavy rain. All other rails are operating on or close to schedule. Soaring to the skies at JFK due to heavy rain, there is a traffic management program in effect for all traffic arriving in John F. Kennedy International Airport. This is causing some arriving flights to be delayed an average of 1 hour and 14 minutes. It's currently 60 degrees with rain showers outside of our studio here at Hofstra University. After another day of torrential downpour, look forward to clear skies throughout the weekend and 60-degree heat. With a Newsline traffic and weather update, I'm Jack Ferretti.
Newsline. Entertainment.
In today's shocking news, 16 women have come forward accusing famous magician David Copperfield of sexual misconduct. The allegations range from inappropriate behavior to assault, with some incidents dating back several years. Copperfield has denied the claims, stating they are false and defamatory. In breaking news, Lil Baby's latest music video shoot in Atlanta took a dangerous turn as dozens of gunshots rang out on set. 3 people were shot and rushed to the hospital following the incident. While details are still emerging, authorities are investigating the situation. In a recent interview, NFL legend Tom Brady opened up about his experience on the greatest roast of all time and how it has impacted his family. Brady revealed that his children have been affected by some of the jokes made about him on the show. The quarterback admitted that while he expected some lighthearted teasing, he didn't anticipate the extent to which it would impact his kids. For your Newsline Entertainment Report, I am Dr. Sumaru, WRHU.
WRHU News Time is 5:51. Thank you, Jack Ferretti and Dr. Sumaru, for those reports. Nearly 200,000 individuals are being compensated for falling victim to a Texas-based online lender. The alleged scammer is Think Finance. The site reportedly charged people for loans that they did not owe. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced yesterday that more than $380 million will be distributed to those affected through its civil penalty fund.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer led a bipartisan group of senators in presenting a roadmap to address the rapid advance of AI. Schumer is pushing for more government research and funding and said that this is necessary because of the complex involvement of AI in so many different areas.
Because AI is so complex and so rapidly evolving and touching every aspect of society that we just couldn't sit on the sidelines or wait several years to see what might happen because it keeps evolving. Humility, because this is so difficult.
The coalition is backing a commission report that urges the government to invest $32 billion annually for non-defense aspects of AI. Schumer also says that he is looking to work closer with AI developers and leaders in the upcoming months.
House Republicans are pushing a bill to force President Biden to continue transferring weapons to Israel. The Israel Security Assistance Support Act urges the, quote, prompt delivery of defense articles and withholds funds from officials until weapons are sent. It reaffirms Israel's right to self-defense after the administration withheld over 3,000 bombs from Israel last week. Republicans denounced this move as betraying an ally, while some Democrats expressed concerns over civilian casualties. The White House opposed the bill and says Biden would veto it.
Walgreens announced it will sell a generic version of over-the-counter Narcan, the opioid overdose reversal drug. The generic naloxone nasal spray will cost $34.99 for 2 doses. That's $10 cheaper than the brand name Narcan. Walgreens hopes the lower price will increase access and normalize having the antidote on hand. Drug overdoses are the leading cause of accidental deaths in the U.S., with over 107,000 fatalities in 2021. Experts say the generic is still too expensive for some, but could drive competition to further lower prices. Walgreens is also donating funds to educate the public on using naloxone nasal spray.
China accused the U.S. of bullying behavior and says some officials have lost their minds after the U.S. raised tariffs on Chinese goods. Beijing strongly condemned the tariff hikes, calling them a reckless and irrational move. China's Commerce Ministry says the higher duties show the U.S. is distorting facts and disrupting supply chains. The harsh words from China come with rising tensions over trade disputes and Taiwan's status.
Jordanian authorities foiled an Iranian-backed plot to smuggle weapons into the kingdom. The weapons were meant for opponents of the monarchy to carry out acts of sabotage. According to Reuters, the arms were sent by Iranian militias in Syria to a Muslim Brotherhood cell linked to Hamas. The cell members of Palestinian descent were arrested in late March with the weapons. The alleged plot comes after high Middle East tensions with the Israeli-Hamas war. Jordan joined the U.S. in downing Iranian drones, fearing the kingdom could become a regional flashpoint.
A state of emergency has been declared on the French-controlled Pacific island of New Caledonia. This comes after 4 deaths occurred during riots. The riots broke out in response to a new law passed in Paris yesterday. The law would allow French citizens who have lived in the territory for 10 years to be eligible to vote in its elections. Many indigenous Canucks fear that this new law will dilute their voting power in future elections. They have begun violently clashing with French authorities, resulting in the deaths of 3 indigenous people and 1 police official. French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal is sending police reinforcements to restore order to the island 17,000 kilometers from the French mainland, saying, quote, "No violence will be tolerated."
Coming up, your Newsline sports break with Connor Keogh. WRHU News Time is 5:56.
From the Philip Cavallaro Sports Desk, this is your Newsline Sports Update.
In the MLB, the Mets take on the Phillies in the 3rd game of a 4-day affair. Philadelphia won the first 2 games in Queens, with the series shifting back to Pennsylvania today. The Mets enters with the 3rd best bullpen ERA in the MLB. The pen held the Phillies to just 2 runs yesterday. First pitch is at 6:40. The Yankees and Twins continue their series in Minnesota today. The Bombers entered with the best record in the American League. On the flip side, Minnesota is 17-4 since right fielder Max Kepler returned from injury on April 22nd. Carlos Rondon and the Bombers were able to blank the Twins' best hitter yesterday. Game time is at 7:40. In basketball news, the Nets announced they are retiring Vince Carter's number 15. Carter played parts of 5 seasons with the New Jersey Nets from 2004 to 2009, where he averaged over 22 points and 4 assists a night. The Hall of Fame talent becomes the 7th player in franchise history to have his jersey retired. In NFL news, the 2024 NFL season schedule will be released today at 8. It was announced earlier today the Jets will be playing in the NFL's international game in London against the Vikings on October 6th. This will be Gang Green's 2nd game across the pond. Previously, they lost to the Atlanta Falcons 27-20 in 2021. In Giants news, the New York Giants will be the subject of the first offseason edition of Hard Knocks on HBO Max. The 5-part series will focus on Big Blue's offseason moves and operations in preparation of the franchise's 100-year anniversary in 2025. The series premieres at July 2nd at 9 p.m. In soccer news, NYCFC revealed the new supporters section of their stadium on X today. The new cheering section includes a 9,000 square foot rooftop bar and gathering area, a mural which includes fan art, and adds 3,400 person standing room seats to the stadium in Queens. The renovations are expected to be complete in 2027. With your Newsline Sports Update, I'm Connor Keogh.
That will do it for tonight's edition of Newsline. Many thanks to the entire WRHU News team. Engineering our show this evening is Jason Spilla.
Thank you for tuning in to Newsline, only here on your 4-time Marconi Award-winning radio station, 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University.
Access real-time local Long Island, New York, and global news, along with content from WRHU Talent Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m.
And tune back in from 7 to 9 Monday through Friday morning for our talk show, in which we discuss Long Island life, national news, and international issues from the minds and mouths of Hofstra students on the morning wake-up call.
Lastly, check us out on social media at WRHU News for behind-the-scenes content.
For Newsline, I am Brooklyn Doughton.
And I'm Cameron Bowden.
Thank you so much for listening.
And have an amazing night.
Newsline is a presentation of Long Island's largest radio news team, comprised of nationally recognized student broadcasters, winners of numerous awards from the Associated Press, Society of Professional Journalists, Radio Television News Directors Association, Hearst Corporation, Long Island Press Club, and other prestigious organizations. Newsline is researched and produced by student journalists using the Hofstra News Hub, cutting-edge multimedia news gathering technology, located in Hofstra's School of Communication. To learn more about News Hub and the Hofstra School of Communication, log on to hofstra.edu. To learn more about News Hub and the Hofstra School of Communication, log on to WRHU.org.